Good morning. This is Boysen Hodgson, the Communications and Marketing Director for the Mankind Project USA. And this morning I'm happy to be sitting with Anthony Johnson, who is one of the co-creators of an event that's going to be happening in Sedona, Arizona very soon called the Future Masculine. Is it a conference? Is it a retreat? Is it a seminar?
Yes. We're calling it Future Masculine Men's Retreat and Toolshop Conference.
Men's Retreat and Toolshop Conference. There you go. So now we've got the background. So I wanted to get together with you, Anthony, just to learn a little bit more about you, learn a little bit more about what you're up to with the conference, and set some context. So why don't we start? Tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Well, about myself, let's see. Let's start at the beginning. Born in Mississippi, raised on the south side of Chicago. Yeah, been moving around a little bit. Career background is in film and television production. Spent about 30 years in post-production, high-end stuff in Chicago. And started out doing stuff, let's see, 3D animation for IBM, and then post-production manager on stuff with Bud Light, Give Me a Light, and Levi's 501 jeans back in the day. Segued to DC. That was one of the highlights. Spent 6 years there with working with Ted Koppel and ABC News as post-production project manager. That was fantastic, including Tragedy at Tiananmen Square. I'm the former director of production and operations for BET, Black Entertainment Television, and at one time was a general manager of the largest video post-production house in DC, a place called Henniger Media. And I've been an independent producer and writer on my own for about the last 15 or 20 years or so. Yeah. So that's kind of the background piece. I, as a producer type, done some how would you call them? Primetime specials, the couple stuff, and did independent stuff too, the 1999 From Whence We Came Awards, which one I'm real proud of, went out to 50 million homes. It was called From Whence We Come Awards. We did that with Blair Underwood and Lynn Whitfield. Yeah, just, and love music. I'm a poet, spoken word kind of guy. Poetry is the juice that makes it all happen for me. And I guess when you say where I'm coming from like an indigenous earth-based place. I've been working with, and I'm a student of the West African shaman Malodoma Some. I don't know if you guys, I know a lot of you warrior folks out there know that name. I'm honored to call him my teacher. Met him in '94 and been dancing with him since. I am a quote unquote graduate of his Indigenous African Spiritual Technologies program. In fact, done it twice. I loved it so much. And right now I spend my time in Sedona doing African elemental divinations, or I should say they do me, boys, and the truth be told. Yeah, 'cause like I said, I was born in Mississippi and raised on Chicago, in south side of Chicago, so I don't believe nothing. I want to say, that's just the way I show up. I don't believe SHIT. I won't say that. No, I don't believe that. And this African elemental earth-based stuff is just warm my heart and makes it something I can put my handle on. It's experiential. It's about feeling. So that's very, very exciting. In fact, I am honored to have the film rights to Malodoma's autobiography of Water and the Spirit, which I co-wrote the screenplay and am actively seeking funding to bring that story of initiation, which is what we entitled the book. His book is called Of Water and the Spirit, and the screenplay is entitled Initiation. And yeah.
Wow.
So a little bit, yeah.
That's wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's
We could go down a whole lot of different paths, but so I'm going to put forward the question that I find most compelling, which is, so why is this important right now? So you're doing something called the Future Masculine.
Yeah.
Why is this so important right now?
I think it's important. I kind of come from a personal place in terms of, well, if folks go to the futuremasculine.com website, they'll see a free ebook. There's a free downloadable ebook there that kind of Answers that question for you. And the title is, I'll just make sure I won't mess it up. Yeah, how a macho, misogynistic thug became a feminine postulant. It's kind of like that's just kind of how I've come about it, and it wasn't most of my development. I give credit to the feminine or the female, I'll say, because it's usually a woman who at least it was tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Yo, Rudolph, what's up?" And it was my former wife who asked that question. How, AJ, how in the world did a macho, misogynistic thug become a feminine postulant? And I said, well, it took about 66 years, but that's what time it is right now. So basically, man, that's where I'm walking. I believe it's the balls and the heart. It's time for that combination. I say to all my warrior brothers, you ain't got to give up nothing. Bringing all that hardwired stuff we talk about and work with, that what I'm just going to call the balls. As I say, no subtraction, no takeaway action. You ain't giving up nothing. Bring that in its fullness, and we're going to open up to that heart piece. So for me, it's just what time it is, the blending of the masculine and the feminine, which I distinguish from the male and the female.
Yes.
I would offer in my Western head, I believe in most of our listeners' Western head, it's hard for me to think of masculine and feminine without thinking of penises and vaginas and gender. And I ain't talking about that, or at least not that exclusively. We're definitely talking about that, but let's put a comma there and not a period. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about masculinity external and the feminine piece is internal. You know, it's intuition and cooperation compared to aggression and competition. And neither is bad. I'm just saying, what about the whole thing, man? The whole thing. So that's kind of where it is and where we're coming from. Yeah.
That was very nicely summed up. And so leading out of that, so there's the kind of why, there's the basis for your work, and what's the vision that you're holding, Anthony, for where are we all headed with this?
Well, I have where we're all heading. I think it's it. I'm hearing myself say, I just think that's what time it is. You know, I really not, no destiny piece or no, because I totally believe in self-empowerment and self-control and the power of choice. And I'd be like, what time it is, meaning in terms of the universe and the history of man and woman and where we are at this time. I just smell it and feel it. That's just kind of what time it is. Whatever, however you want to put that. And it's just an opening. I just think that's what time it is. And but the men that I talk to, a lot of them, because I call us all knuckleheads, and like yourself, I love men's work, and there ain't nothing to me more powerful than men being together. Like I used to say, man, if you can get a man to do anything, you're doing good. So if you can get 2 or 3, oh my God, it's powerful. And then on the weekend, like you got 30 cats doing the same, that's just off the chain. Or I have a military background, and I used to trip on that. That's what's so powerful about that. You can get 50, a platoon, 100 dudes doing the same thing. So my vision is, what if we all were doing this thing? And I want to be clear, this is just a way. I ain't playing that the way stuff. I don't know nothing about that. This is anything I do, I like to categorize it as an offering. Something to try on like a jacket. Put it on if it fits, cool. If it don't, please discard and keep on rolling. So this to me is just a way, which I think, and I feel resonates with us, because like our hardwiredness, this intuition, this compassion piece is also resident in every man. This ain't no idea, nothing I gotta make up, or it's in there. It's like ragu, like the old Italians. It's in there. We just got all kind of crap piled up on it. I don't want. At least that's been my experience. Anywhere I come from, you don't show that. That anything but that, Jack. Don't kindness equals weakness, and you get your butt kicked, or some version of that, or worse. So that's just what I'm reminded. I'm reminded of the story of, and I tell this to a lot of the knucklehead toughies, of Reuben Hurricane Carter,
Hmm.
who I'll put this on the tough scale for you. Reuben Hurricane, you may have heard of Reuben Hurricane. He used to kick people's ass for a living. He was a a world champion boxer who then got sent to the joint and continued to live his life there and fight and scuffle and all that. Eventually, he got released, though, and they were doing a big story and interview on him. And Reuben Hurricane, he was just the stuff, the shit. And so they asked him the question. They said, Reuben, how do you want to be remembered? Your legacy as, Reuben the Hurricane Carter. And I'll never forget what he said. He said, no, I don't want to be remembered as a hurricane. I would much rather be remembered as a gentle breeze. That froze me. I got it, Reuben. Now, because I tell them, are you that bad? He used to kick people's ass for a living. Okay?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that helped me a lot. And so most of the cats I admire throughout the world, some version of that, they let that piece. Usually we wait till we like 90 or 80 or some shit, it's like, well, get a little soft. Or on our dying bed, we call the grandson and the daughter and say, well, I really didn't want to do all that and whatever. And we let our little soft side show. So, yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So let's transition into talking about. So now we know what time it is.
Yeah. No. So what are we trying to do with that? Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
So tell me about the future masculine.
Well, we asked that question. I put it out there on the flyer. It says, "What will you do for your soul this year, or for the soul of a man you love?" So what I've done, and I'm going to give big props to, and not just because I'm online with you, but I give a lot of props to MKP, to the Mankind Project, for opening me up, and bless the woman who tapped me on the shoulder and told me that's something you ought to go do. Yeah. And I looked at her like, well, so you want me to give you, and I'll never forget, Ari Coppola, I'm gonna call him out. I was initiated in November of '95 at Marlow Ridge in the Washington D.C. community, and bless all the brothers in that community who've contributed a lot from my understanding of where MKP here is 20 years later, because I remember LKS came out of there, and I was blessed to be a lodge keeper with those guys, and then the elder piece came out of there, and all this good stuff. So that's where the quote unquote men's work began, like that, in terms of that. So that's, want to give some props for that. So I take that and blend it in with my Chicago and Mississippi stuff, and then throw a little Maladoma and indigenous earth Africa. That's kind of where we're coming from, the elemental piece, the nature piece. Us being plugged into nature, the old Newtonian view of the universe as being a machine and nature as being something separate from me is that and I'm open to that. I ain't mad at you. Let's just see what that looks like. No. Nature is not something separate. We are part of that. We are literally made of water and fire and earth and mineral and nature in terms of this particular way. But the key of it is that we're a part of that. So that's kind of what the weekend is going to be based in. But we say we're coming together to co-create a future of a new and healing masculine. And the key word is co-creating. Because I and my fellow guys who've on board here, I want to talk about them too. We're co-creating. As I say, we are all teachers and all students. Everybody got stuff, everybody got stuff. And it's that stuff, in my experience, that makes it all happen. I've been, sharing and facilitating and messing around with folks and stuff like that for more than a decade now. And that's the juice for me. Is it ain't I say to cats when I'm looking at a group of men, usually men and or women, Let's look around the room. There's me. I'm sitting here. I got about 50, 60 years of knowledge, but look around the room. There are 30 people here. I'm looking at 400 years of wisdom and experience. So don't come here looking to get full up. You bring something, and that's part of our reminding piece. Dude, you were born with some stuff, man. You came here with some stuff. There ain't no accidents. It's just a commercial that we never got. I dare say, Boysen, you were asked the same questions I was asked, and most people who are on board with us listening. And that question goes like, hey, Boysen, yeah, what you gonna be when you grow up? Damn, Pops, that means that what, I'm nothing now? And that's total antithetical to where we're coming and where the indigenous people come from. No, Boysen Hodgson was born a freaking genius, born with a purpose, born with a gift. And it's our role to nurture that gift, honor that gift, and bring it forth, into the world. So that's kind of what we do in the divination work, and it's kind of be where we're coming from on the weekend, which is April 24th through the 26th, by the way, here in Sedona. Yeah, so that's what we say we do. We just co-create that. So key is, well, what am I? Is what you bring in. Of course, we're going to have some stuff here. We're going to create a sacred space and a wonderful place for it to happen. And then, as I say, we will be doing ritual and not ceremony. And ceremony I love, and the only difference is, one of the big differences is, we invite spirit in, and then that's it. We don't know what's going to happen. You see, we're going to invite, the ceremony is cool, but you do that, then you're going to do that, then you're going to do that, which is all good. And we're going to say, hey, let's open it up, invite spirit in, open our eyes up, and blam. Whatever's supposed to happen will happen. So that's kind of how we're seeing this weekend thing unfold. And I'm just excited about it. What my idea, my beloved, bless her soul, Miss Lydia said, so yeah, we were talking about doing some work and something for men and women. And she said, and it was a third woman here in Sedona, but she's my beloved. She said, why don't you do something for the men? I said, I just went in a little meditation. Up came Future Masculine. And that's it. And I started reaching out. And let me give some shout outs to let people know I'm not alone. I've got some good old folks with me. I'll start out with Daniel Posney. Daniel is a man here who I met in Sedona. He goes by Daniel of Sedona. He's an alchemist and a way shower, author of One White Stone, Journey of Faith. And he's a published author, alchemist, teacher, mentor, and student, so I printed it. He's a black belt in the martial arts, deeply connected with nature and native cultures, having participated in Native American drum circle and sweat lodges as a firekeeper. After living for several years within a spiritual community, Daniel embarked upon a journey of further self-discovery and eventually set roots in Sedona. So we're happy to have Daniel. He's what we call a student of self-mastery. And our other co-facilitator is Dr. Stephen Ross. Real happy about to hook up with Steve. He's the CEO of something called the World Research Foundation. He's been involved in researching and lecturing around the world on alternative methods of healing for about 40 years.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, I mean, he has, man, I walked up in his place. He has medical books, alchemical books that go back to the 1400s.
Oh, cool.
Oh, it was so cool. And I don't read books, I eat books. So I was in big heaven, to put it mildly. So Steve will be there. He's been all over the world working with different governments and lecturing. And his background is in science and philosophy. And he'll be doing something on men and healing during the weekend as well. So, and we've got Michael Steele, and we've got Ho-Shing Shao. Michael Steele is a magician in a literal sense. Ho-Shing Shao was a martial artist, third generation, and Tibetan meditator. We've got Luis Hara, Chakra 8 Holistics, a stone people master massage therapist in the stone people tradition. And you'll notice one thing, I'm going to do a little shtick here about the mixture of the guys, which is part of the multicultural movement, which I was honored to be a part of getting started there at MKP.
Yeah.
But by design, I put together the mix. We got Luis Hara and Ayande and Host, as well as Stephen Daniel and old knucklehead AJ, so I'm big on that mix by design. So I'm doing a little commercial to my MKP cast because I know y'all still dealing with that old multicultural thing. It's got to be by design, Slim. It don't happen by accident. And I love you for all the efforts that you're doing and whatever is happening. And blessings on that journey. Because nothing is more powerful for me. I use the analogy, my man, it's like the World Series, the Boston Red Sox some bad cats, the Yankees some bad cats. But when you got that all-star team, where you got an Indian and an Oreo and a Yankee and a Dodger, that's the deal. You got and then bring that different stuff, Then, yeah, that's a little different. Yeah.
Good. Awesome.
Yeah.
So plug the date again, plug the website again, sure. And then we will.
It's the Future Masculine Men's Retreat. Future Masculine Men's Retreat and Toolshop Conference, April 24th through the 26th at the Sedona Creative Life Center in Sedona, Arizona. And man, well, it's older than my granddaddy, but I gotta say a word about Sedona. Mm-hmm. Oh man, the energy here is palpable. The mountains, the views, and now I understand why 4 million people come to this town of 12,000 residents every year. Boysen, if it has not been on your agenda, give it, and your beloved will thank you forever. You will be a hero for a good while. Trust me. It's just so I'm gonna say. In fact, the place for the honorable Native American people, the folks, the First Nation people of this area, it was so sacred for them that they would not live here. Mm. It was, well, of course, we came and changed that shit right quick. But they would not live here. It was just for ritual and ceremony. They would come and do what they do and leave. Because, I mean, the natural phenomena, the red rocks, the mountains, it's just, again, the energy for me is palpable. So, yeah, come get a bite out of Sedona. So I'm going to do a commercial about Sedona, too. And look up, MK, the cost piece. Mm-hmm. That's the warrior piece, too. No man is turned away. I don't want to hear that. I ain't got no money. Crap. Talk to me. We'll work it out. I got that from MKP. No man will be turned away. You just got to make a commitment. As we say, put a little skin in the game. We'll work it out, homeboy. Now, if you say, that ain't my cup of tea, hell, I don't like you, hell, I'm busy, all that's acceptable. Don't sound right, cool, honor your judgment. But, man, if you say, like, it sounds like something I might be interested in, but I just don't have the money. Well, I have to walk my talk. That's unacceptable. Because I don't want just cats who can afford it to come. Therefore, I have to walk the talk. What does that look like, Jack? Talk to me. You'll see it on the website. We said that also, that, hey, man, I ain't got $675 or $535, which is the reduced price for no thing. So what you got, Rudolph? Talk to me. How can we work it out? But we want you there if you're thinking about it.
Yeah. I've heard more nicknames for men in the last 30 minutes.
Well, that's the point in me. I talk like that, man. That's just I apologize to anybody that I offend, because we might have some Rudolphs out there. I don't mean no harm.
So this has been really fun. I'm intrigued by what you're doing, and I just enjoy the conversation. I enjoy the connection that we make.
Thank you. And yeah, regardless of Skype or not, let's keep the channels open. And you did, the poet came up, so I want to do one for you, which is called, which I wrote many years ago, but it's kind of happening right now, and that's Boysen. Just what if? This is just a term. Just what if? Just what if? What if God is a woman and she's coming soon? Have you ever seen a man that didn't come from a womb? Ever see one that didn't end up in a tomb of some kind? See, I'm a child of the commode and I see all behind. And I listen with my eyes and I see her in combat boots, skin of black lacquer, pipe in her mouth full of wondrous laughter. Calling her out of her gender all these years, and we wonder why feminine energy sheds so many tears. Can you imagine what it would be like? I don't know if God was always referred to as an eel. How could a gorilla relate? Somebody better call Darwin. It's getting late. It's getting late. Now, my friends, the Muslims say God has no gender. Ain't tough, ain't tender. Me, I don't know. Do you? Do you? I say it's time for a new blue haiku. That's what Sekou said. AJ say I'm too sinister to be a minister. Ate too much ham to be an imam. And I'm too full of yeast to be a priest. Too frail to find the Holy Grail, and I didn't go to school long enough to be called a doc. But every now and then I can feel it. That space between the tick and the tock. Good day, good doubt, and I'm out.
Oh,
Oh,
that was beautiful. I think I'm just going to clip that out. I'll just post that up.
thank you. Yeah, that's from my, I'm going to put a shout out to a man. I'm going to do a shout out for Rich Tosi, who I understand is under the weather these days. So anybody, I want to give him a blessing. I just flashed when you said that because I was going to do a little thing. I got from my CD called Spirit Talk, and he sent me a nice little note on that years ago, which I never forgot. So bless his soul, and I wish him a speedy recovery out loud and on purpose. Yeah, bless his soul.
Thank you.